Everyone, welcome to part 2 of this week's planner page by Johanna Basford. This is part of a page from World of Flowers, and in yesterday's video I showed you how I was going to do these two houses and talked you through the greenery. There was a little sped up bit of video of me doing it. Of course, when I did the greenery I realised all the bits that I'd missed, like the lamp, the chimney and things like that. Now what we're going to do today is we're going to finish off the bits that aren't plants, the toadstools, the lamps and the chimney and things like that, and then I'll see how long that takes and talk about the flowers and leaves as well. But let's just crack on with the toadstools first. So I'll come in a lot closer so you can see. Now my background is pretty scruffy, but I'm happy with it at the moment. What I will probably do is go back over it once I've done all the details in front, and then it's a lot easier. So I'm grabbed number 80, which is the lightest grey that comes in this set. It's called light grey, and I'm going to just use this for my stem. Want it a little bit darker at the top, hence my extra layering. Now with stems of toadstools and mushrooms, I usually do them grey or brownish grey, and it can be nice to make them darker on the edges to make them look more rounded, but these are so small that I just won't be able to get much of an effect with that, so I'm just going to leave it. Now I've decided to grab the colour that we used for the flag, which is number 2 for the tops. Now I'd like the dots to be white, but whether they stay white or not is we'll find out. Now I'm thinking they're going to be darker on the edges, the bottom and the sides compared with the top, which would be catching the light. I mean, there won't be loads of light because we've got all these leaves and things we can't see. So I'm just going to make a few more layers down here at the bottom and fade it up a little bit by doing less as I go towards the top. Now with the dots on a mushroom toadstool, they're just, I use them interchangeably. If you put a little bit of shadow underneath them, they look like they protrude more from the mushroom, which is rather nice. We'll give it a try. I know I'm not doing, I said I wasn't going to do lots of fiddly details, but I'm just going to show you this, and it may not even work, but hey ho. This is number 77, which is our tobacco brown, and I'm just going to put a little bit underneath. I'm just layering it until I'm satisfied that there's enough there. If you've accidentally coloured over them, you can use your, like I did there, you can use your white, I'll just demonstrate by doing it, use your white pen to whiten it a little bit, but you might be able to see that it looks a little bit more three-dimensional. If you go up the side, that will help a bit more too. My stomach is gurgling. There we go. I'm going to leave that now, I'm not going to over fiddle. Let's move across to this house and let's do this bit. Now normally with a flame I would go yellow to orange to red and, you know, make it, but it's so teeny tiny, we're just going to use one colour. Oh, I do the same for this one. Oh, excuse me yawning. It's very hard to sleep at the moment because it's so hot at night. I wake up and I feel, oh, I'm a bit cool. Pull the duvet around me. I've got a really light summer weight one. This is 11. And pull it around me, and then I have a hot flush, and then I take it off, and then I get cold, and it goes on all night. It's lovely. But yeah, I know some people love the hot weather. Now I think I'm going to use the yellow, which I use for the windows, for the light area in the lamps, because I think it might just tie together nicely. Now you could use more than one colour here, or you could fade it towards the edge and have it brighter at the flame. But actually, I'm not too fussed. I just want it to look warming. So that's what we're going to do. Now we have our actual candles. I'm thinking the red that we've already used, the number 2. Oh, my stomach. It's quite funny. I don't know. I had my breakfast. It's 10:30. I had my breakfast at 7 o'clock. I had an iced coffee when I came in from the shop. But, no, there we go. So I've tried to leave a lighter bit in the middle to make the candle look more rounded. Now with regards to, let's just do this bit on the building. Let's come in a little closer for you. I'm thinking this piece, I'm just going to do it in the colour that we did the darker edges of the building, which was 24. This might have been the front door colour actually. And a little bit darker at the bottom and lighter towards the top. As simple as that. I'm just having a quick scan to see if there's any more wood, because this is a wooden branch. There isn't, so it doesn't matter. So I'm just going to grab, we use the tobacco brown somewhere on the toadstool, so I use that again. So I'm going to just put a layer down. It's got a bit of green on it from the background, but actually it doesn't matter. It might be moss or something. I'm going to make it slightly darker. Oops, at the bottom. She says not making it any darker at the bottom. Come on. There. And then this leaf colour, I'm going to use the 57, which is the olive green that I used for their leaves, just because I want it to tie in with the roof, and they'll stand out from this background, which is looking a bit messy. I'm just going to do a bit of light green. This pencil sharpener's chewing it up. It's because I still haven't emptied it. I can just see a few gaps here. You can probably see even more than me. There we go. Now the lamp itself, the framework I'm going to do in grey. I'm not going to use this grey actually, I'm going to use a darker grey. I'm going to try and make it look a little bit, I'm going to try and make it look gold. I'm changing my mind because we've already done that on the door furniture, so let's try it on the lamp as well. So this is number 16. As I said before, this is my cheats gold. So layer it up on the edges, fade towards the middle, leaving a little gap. It's really tiny, it's quite hard to see what I'm doing, but I'm just putting down more on the edge. And the same on this one. Let's move it into shot. It helps if you can see it, doesn't it? Yes, please, let us see it. I'm sorry. Oh. I've watched Johanna Basford live videos before where she's colouring away and she's forgotten to move her book into shot, and everyone in the chat is going, oh, can't see, and of course she doesn't check her chat while she's colouring. It must be quite difficult when you're on a phone, unless you've got like a laptop beside you or something. Of course I don't have any chat when I'm colouring, so I have to hope that it's okay. So just doing it darker around the edges really, leaving a bit of a lighter bit in the middle. Try and make it look a bit gold and shiny. Now we have our chimney. Now I'm thinking, I tend to do chimneys in the house colour. I think it sort of works. So the lightest house colour was the 42, which was the light orange. I'm going to use that for this lower bit. Just going to sort of layer it up a little bit until it looks reasonably dark so you can see it. And on the top bit though, I'm going to make it a bit darker on the edge than the middle. I'm going to try and leave a little bit of lighter to try and make it look a bit more rounded. Let's just draw that in a tad. Now this bit I'm going to do in the darker colour, the actual orange, which was number 4. I'm sharpening again. Sharpen, sharpen. That's all she ever does. And this bit in the number 4, fading it towards the middle. And then I'm going to make a little darker bit there and here. There we go. Okay, now let's have a look at what we have achieved. We've only spent 10 minutes, so we've got a lot of time, so we may be able to get a lot more done than I thought. Now I am thinking about these florals. Now my thought was that if we did them all in the same colour, it would help the page not look so messy. But what colour do we do? Well, I thought that purple might be a good colour, the violet, because I feel that goes quite well with orange. So the violet here is, I don't know if that's its name, number 6. I'm just looking, bear with me, 666, violet, yes. So that's how I'm going to do all of the flowers. So I'm going to show you a few. Let's go back in. Let's do our bottom part where we've started. And I'm thinking this one, for example, let's start with this one here. Around the edge in a really dark layer, and then a bit less, to try and make it look like it's rounded. I can do the same on each of these. Now you might want to do these a bit like dandelions and make them white, but I've decided I'm not doing any white, so it's up to you. And just doing, I'm going to just block this in because these are so small, these little shapes. You might prefer not to do all your flowers exactly the same colour. I mean, there is a lighter violet, it's called dark mauve. No, that's not it. Lavender, that's it. I was going to say. There's a lavender, so you could do some of it in that if you want. Now for me, this bit at the bottom is better in a dark colour, partially because, well, mainly because I've coloured over some of it with the light green. So if you use a dark colour on top, you can't tell. You could try to erase it if you've done that. You probably haven't, it's just me. I go too fast, make a mess. That's fine. That's just my way. Now these look like some sort of bleeding hearts maybe, which are pink, but I'm sticking, as I say, with the same colour right through. Even with these, I think with these I'm just going to block in those centres and then try and fade towards the edge of each petal, but they're too small really. Might just end up being blocked in. Now yeah, we have dots and stars and things on this bush. My thought was to maybe do them in a purple Posca Pen, so we keep to our purpley theme, but I will wait till the end. It's not, I usually like to wait until I finish before I make that sort of decision. And also I don't want to use pens this early on, or else I'll just smudge them everywhere. God, imagine a mess. No, don't. Horrific. I got pen all over my hand the other day and it was only a biro. Right, with these I'm going to just block in this bottom part and then go around the edge like that. And then try to do a bit less towards the middle, to give them more of a rounded look, hopefully. Right, I'm going to show you every flower now. Yes, let's see, yes. Here and here, those little dots. I'm going to come in a bit closer, still a bit far away. And I'm just going to demo one of each. So, we have this section of flowers. Now I'm thinking, I I've started doing the flower middles all purple, and I'm wondering whether that was wise and whether I should be doing them in a different colour. I think for these I'm going to make them darker here, fade towards the centre, and then dark on the tip and fade towards the centre of the petal. To get a sort of lighter bit in the middle. Yes, I can't really change the centres now I've started. I think it's going to look odd, and I was thinking maybe that sort of sand colour would have looked good, but I can't. If I erase this dark violet colour, it's not going to. I'm not going to be able to put down the sand, so it would be a bit weird. So I'm not sure. I am pondering. So you can hopefully see what I'm doing. Just layering up more on the base and the tip, and just bringing them together somewhere near the centre of the petal with a slightly lighter part and hopefully a little bit of white as well. And I'll do all the petals that look like this in the same way. I'm just pondering whether to use the lavender for the middle. I think we can get away with it. Yeah, so this is the lavender, which is 62. We'll do the centre like we did the other one. Bottoms are darker on the edge and lighter in the middle. So there's our lavender. And I was thinking these little tops here, do those in lavender. I'm just going to block them in though, because because those could have been done in lavender too, and the centre of these, but I haven't. But that's fine. Now that is the same as that, is the same as that. Okay, so I'm not going to show you any more of those. These are very similar. The centre is the same. So, just checking you're still, you can see what I'm doing. Like that. And then each leaf, I think for these, I'll start dark and then just fade, because then that'll fit in with these outside ones as well. You'll be able to see them better, because there'll be a contrast between the light tip of this one and the dark base of this one. I'll just show you the whole of one. And then you can see what it looks like. We have these bits in here as well which need to be blocked in, preferably a bit darker if you can. But the ergos aren't so vibrant, and if you keep layering you may just end up going through the paper. This isn't particularly thick paper. I've never gone through the paper, but just worth being a little bit careful. And it's not the thinnest paper. There are books with much thinner paper than this, but there are also books with much thicker paper. And if you're heavy-handed with your colouring, you need to just beware. It's not, heavy-handedness isn't a problem, as long as you're just a little bit careful of your paper. It can actually mean that you're colouring a lot faster. Okay, so there's one of those. You can see them really similar to that one, but yeah, that's what I've planned to do, so that's what I'm sticking with. Now on this stem here we have these strange shaped ones. I am not going to do these in the lavender. I'm going to do these in this dark colour. I'm not going to do any lavender on this one, because my background here is sky. I'm going to put some sky in, and if I do a really light little bit there, it's just going to get lost in the blue sky. It's going to be a blue sky, by the way, spoiler alert. So just put a little bit of dark on the edge of there and there. There we go. Sort of shape it a little bit. So those would all be the same. Now I get a bit confused here, but I think these are, I mean that's a flower, so these must be flowers. So for these top ones I'll just do them dark here and lighter to the tip like that, really straightforward. Yeah, the sky's going to be blue. I probably will do it in pastel though, not pencil, because it's a lot and it's a bit daunting for me. Right, this one, I have to decide, is this going to be green and this going to be, and that's yes for me. So this bit I'm going to do green. This is the inside, so it's going to be really dark, this bit down here. So I'm going to just layer it, and then up here I want a darker layer here, and then a bit less as we come down to the bottom like that. So there's only 3 of those. They'll all be the same. These are very cute, aren't they? Again, for these, I think I'm going to do that bit as green and just colour this bit. Just block it in, it's really small. Like that. I'm just going to sharpen my pencil before we move on to our next one. Now, we have these here. They're going all the way along, actually. You come from this big long stem at the side. Now we have a sort of outside leaf and an inside leaf. So I think what I would do is for the outside leaf, I'll do a few less layers. I will lighten it towards the base like that. And here, a few like that. So there's pretty much the same, a little bit darker here and here. And then for this one, we want it to be really quite dark in here, particularly where they overlap. So that basically is my darkest bit. And then I can slowly fade it by not putting down as many layers as I go up towards, down towards the base. But we've got a little bit of shaping to do in here. And I think just putting a line in there and there is probably enough. I don't want to overcomplicate it. Okay. Now these are interesting because this one we're looking straight into the flower and this one we're looking at the side of the bell. Can you see? So I'm thinking the centre we can do in our lavender. So let's grab that, sharpen it. And I am going to do the whole of this right from there. Like that. And around, and then try to do a little bit less towards the centre. It won't look as nice as the ones over here, just because of the way it's drawn. Okay, now these dots would be tempting to do these lavender as well, but they stick out here, look. And so we don't want that, because, although that is that, we'll just pretend it isn't. Because as I said, it's going to disappear into the background. So we want our darker violet, number 6, for this bit. So all of these in number 6. And these as well. I'll just sort of show you it all as I go. This, however, has been done here in lilac, but I'm going to do it in 6. I'm going to make it a bit darker on the edge if I can. Don't think that really made any difference. Now in here we want it lighter than this, so I'm just gonna do a few less layers. You can go right over the top of that bit because it won't hurt. Just do enough layers so that you know that if you've got some blue next to that it looks purple. It's not going to get lost. Yeah, and we'll do the same sort of amount of coverage in here because that's the inside and that's the inside, like that. And so these will all be the same, just gently fade it towards the tip. Like that. I'm not going to do the rest. And these, we've got it darker in the centre, so we'll do it the same here. So the top here is darker, and then we'll just fade them down. as so. And do the same on each one. A little bit more layering there. Start to reduce. There won't be only one layer down at the bottom. Okay, that's that one. We have these. I think we want to make them different, so I'm going to make them dark on the outside edge and a bit lighter in the middle. Okay, so dark here, just layer it up a little bit. And then a bit lighter down to there. And the same with this one. Okay, we've got another one to do, but that's fine, it'll be the same. These is very tempting to do a lavender centre. Look how little they are. I'm going to try. I'm going to do them all, even though I'm only going to demo one flower, or else I might forget. It takes a lot of concentration. That one hasn't got one. Just draw one in. Okay, and then I think with this violet I'm just going to do it quite light, but the same across the whole thing, like that. I just want it to look a little bit different. Okay, and we have these two. I'm thinking this bit is going to be green, and so we just make it a bit darker as it comes out from that green, then lighter on the tip. And I think we're nearly there. This, I think, is our final flower, and we'll do a lavender centre. So we've got number 62. Sounds like some sort of exotic chocolate, a lavender centre. I think that'll be disgusting. Oh, I don't like. I like the smell of lavender, but not the chocolate. Ugh. And people do lavender shortbread, don't they? So dark here and a bit lighter towards the edge. Obviously, that fades off because there's a little margin. Okay, I'm having a quick look. I think we're done with all of our petals. Obviously we're not done, but you know. Now around here and here, it looks a bit scruffy, the number 50. So I'm just going to redo it a little bit now to tidy it up in places. We still haven't finished it, of course. All those flaws and things, but you might find like around the edges of things you've missed bits, so that all need tidying up. Potentially you might have been a lot better than me. Okay, so we've got our other greenery to do now, these leaves. I'm thinking hard. I think I'm going to go with the number 5, which is the green. Just giving it a sharpen. Now my plan with the 5 is for all of the, most of the stems, all of the slim stems, like this one, I'll show you, just pop it down. Just put it down there, like that. And the same with the slim leaves. Just fill the space. Okay? And then with the different leaves, is that grass? No. With the different leaves, just, I think, start darker at the stem. I don't know if you can see, sorry, let's put it in there. So dark, start darker at the stem and then fade towards the tip. And do that throughout. Same with this one. I think that's a flower. So colour, that purple, darker at the top, lighter at the bottom. We've got Stemmage. Now what's that? I think that's a giant leaf. These are all quite big. Just do the same thing. Start in the corner, quite dark. Layer up a lot. Like that. And then a bit less towards the base. I'm going to ignore the lines on it. Like that. Do the same with all of these, with these bits green, okay, and these bits just try and fade it a bit, but it's tricky. These bits, just fade it a bit if you can. That's that, and that's all the same. This one is just the stem. Stem. The little top bit as well. Just try and make it darker around the edge if you can. The smaller ones will be harder. More stem, more leaves. I would say do this stem quite dark, do this bit quite dark, and just fade. Like that. Now we've got this very long stem. Now this one's just going to be done hard colouring, and same as these little leaves. I mean, you can try and fade them towards the tip if you want, but you may struggle. Do the best you can. We've got some smoke from our chimney. We're going to ignore that at the minute. That is going to be violet. And then these little vines are just going to be done in the same way as this one. I'll show you with this slightly bigger one. So I'd say darker at the bottom and then fade towards the tip. Do it the same with these little bits of grass if you can. If you can't, just block them in. Doesn't matter. You might not like this look anyway. You might prefer to block it in. It's up to you. Now we have this really long stem coming all the way down here. And I think it would be best to try to make it a bit darker down here than this one that's coming in front of it, even though they're going to be the same colour. So I'm thinking I'm going to actually layer it down quite thickly down here. And that's the other side of it there. And there, pretty much like that. This is a bit of it up here. But once you get beyond this plant, I'm thinking try to see if you can make it a little bit darker on the edge. Just layer it up a bit. That one's quite dark in there. And then fade it a little bit towards the middle so that it looks a little bit more rounded. Try not to make it too scruffy like I have. So darker here and a bit less as you go into the centre, like that. Okay, oh, sorry, you can't see. There you can see it's a little bit lighter. That's how I'm going to do it. Now I'm going to go away and do all this. I'll do it on camera, so I can do a little speed colour of it for you. I'll probably leave it big because I'll forget to move it otherwise. So let me just zoom out. You can see my mess of pencils there. So in a little bit more. So I will speed colour this, but as we're 34 minutes through only, and all I'll have left is sky, smoke and magic-y bits, I'll come back and do that at the end. So I'm going to try to put some bookmarks in this video, so if you don't want to watch the speed colour, hopefully you'll be able to skip to the end. I may struggle. I've never done it before, and I don't even know if YouTube lets you do it or if you have to be some sort of super popular YouTuber to be allowed to do that function. I'll have a go. We'll see what happens. But Anyway, you can skip along yourself using the little bar, and if you don't want to watch it, I'll put a bit of music on, I expect, on the speedy bit for you, but if you don't like it, just mute. I'm sure your musical taste isn't the same as mine. I never know what to choose. Anyway, so I'll do that. I'll do all the purple, the violet and the lavender and this green. And yeah, I'll come back and I'll talk to you about any weird bits that I've come across or anything like that, and show you how I'm going to do the sky. Hopefully it's going to be really easy. That's my plan. I don't want it to be hard. And yeah, and the magic-y bits. So I better go and get the things I need for that as well. But for now, off you go. You can carry on, pause the video, colour the rest, or watch the next bit, whatever you want to do, but I'll see you in a bit. And ready to just finish a few bits. Now at the bottom here I haven't coloured these grasses because I decided that I actually wanted them to be the same colour as the hill rather than this colour. So I'm just going to colour them very quickly in number 52. So I thought I would just leave those and just tell you what I'm doing rather than trying to show you on a zoomed out camera. It's quite hard for you to see the pencil numbers and things like that, but I'm just colouring it really quickly now, and then we'll be ready for the background. Now I do realise I did a bit of this wrong somewhere up here, but anyway, I'll show you in a minute. Yes, we'll be ready for a background. Now I've got my pastels out. Now I use Mungyo Pastels. Now I always use these. I have tried one other brand of pastel, which were, yeah, and I had them since I was about 16, and they got a bit gritty and dried out, but they were very, very old, and there were only 12 different colours, some of which were a bit too bright for me to really use them very much. The name still hasn't come to me, but anyway, I don't think there was anything wrong with them with regards to quality. I think they were just very old. I haven't used any other brand. I have been told that the Faber-Castell ones are very good, and I would be tempted. However, what would tempt me the most to buy a pastel is if I knew that the colour wouldn't bleed into white. Now I know that it's a little bit here which I think should be purple and violet. Sorry, I think it's probably a little bit of a flower. Because with the Mungyo ones, which I'm just about to get out and show you, some of the pinks, particularly these, bleed into white pen. So you do it for a background, you want some pen, it might bleed, which is a bit annoying. So I'm going to use a cloth like this. This is a makeup cloth. I've actually used the other side already. I wash them out every so often, and I'm going to do some blue for our sky. I'm going to use this blue here just because I know it's the colour that I'm looking for. It's a sort of mid blue, what I think is a sky blue, and I'm going to sort of put it all over really. Now if you don't have pastels, you can colour this with a pencil. It would take you quite a while. I would recommend a softer pencil than Ergos if you're going to do a background, because the Ergos being quite hard, it takes quite a lot of effort to get enough down for a background, and then to get it smooth is really quite difficult, even if you use a blending fluid or anything like that. So I would recommend something like a Holbein, Luminance, a Prisma, even a Derwent, what's the brand? Derwent, Lightfast. I mean, I know these are all expensive brands of pencils, but they do work well for backgrounds. Now you notice I'm going right over everything with this blue. I'm confident that if I've missed a bit of green and it goes blue, I don't mind, and the same with the violet. It doesn't matter too much. If I was doing it over something that was yellow, I would certainly not be doing it like this, because it would all go green. So but with this background colour, I can be confident it's all going to work. Now you want it fairly smooth, but it doesn't have to be completely smooth. Think about now here, look, our lantern, it's gone a bit green. So I'm trying to be a bit careful. So what was I saying? Oh, I don't know. Oh yes, smoothness. Yeah, you want it fairly smooth, but not massively. I mean, the sky, I mean, today I suspect, I've got my blind shut, but I suspect the sky is completely blue with no clouds. But quite often there's blotchy cloud, or the sky can be a bit grey in places even. So it's not always perfectly blue. So it doesn't matter. And actually I think it can look a bit more realistic if it's not completely plain. I'm going to add a little bit more in though, having said that, because we've got none there. What I want to make sure is there's enough for me to be able to put some colour, some white Posca in places and for it to show up. You'll see what I'm doing in a bit. Right, I'm going to leave that there. See, it's gone a bit green from where the green is transferred off. I'm just going to move my pastels well out the way so I don't knock them on the floor. It's always good. Right, so Posca Pens is what I'm going to use next. I have a white one for our smoke, and parts of the flowers. I also want a different colour for the magic down here, I think. So I'm going to give it a bit of a shake. Oops. I'm going to start by putting some white on our flowers, and I think it would just lift the whole thing. So on every flower, just going to lean on my sponge so I don't get pastel all over my hands. So on every flower I'm going to find a way of putting some white on, whether it be a line, a few dots, something like that. You can be as inventive as you wish here. You can just do it on the centre, you can do it on the petals as well. I'm probably going to do it on petals and centre on most of them, because the page is so plain, I feel like I need to lift it all with some dotting, and putting white dots on is a lot of fun as well. And I'm hoping it's going to make it look a little bit more magical as well. It might not, but we'll see. Because I feel like this is a little fairy forest with our little houses. So I'm just dotting along the leaves really. Now if you've got a pencil, if you've used some brands of pencil, they I'm just going to put some lines on these. They bleed into white pen, just like the pastels can. So you have to be a little bit careful. The brands that bleed in are the soft ones, like Prismas, Black Widows, Arteza, Castle Arts. I don't know about luminance. I haven't got them. Put just a few dots up this from the stem, I think, on the darkest bits. Yeah, so you can, oh, excuse me. Right, I am back. My phone rang, and it was my chappie organising some work. His painting work we're having done, so I had a quick chat with him, and I'm back to do some dots. I'm just going to go down the middle of these large ones, and that's it, all the way down. Oh, we need this. I'm going to go down the middle of each bit there, I think. Excuse me. Yeah, he's a bit of a talker, that chap. When he came round to assess the job, he was talking for quite a while. He's a lovely bloke, but I didn't want to talk to him for ages this morning, so I tried not to engage too much without being rude. But yeah. But he was funny. He was swearing, not out of joking. It was quite funny. But I think workmen sometimes do a bit. It made me chuckle anyway. I'm used to swearing. I don't like it very much sometimes. It depends how it's done. If it's done in a jolly way, that's fine. If it's done in a nasty way, that's not nice. So my boys swear sometimes, and well, fair bit. I think teenagers do, but it's okay. I don't mind. They're not aggressive with it, if you know what I mean. Okay, I'm going to do these flowers down here next. I think these are just going to have a little bit in the middle, I think. Now we have some magic to do down here as well. I'm going to go in the middle of those. Not sure what I'm going to do with those magic-y bits. I'd quite like, in a way, to do it white, but I just don't think it's going to show up. So I think we're going to have to do it in purple. I bought my violet Posca. I think it'll be okay. I do have some other colours of Posca which I brought through, but I just don't think they're going to work. So I think we need to stick to the sort of colour scheme, as it were, or else it's going to look a bit weird. But as I say, I just don't think if I do a few white bits, it's not going to show up. Where am I? I've got that one there and that one there. Oops, I'm just going to go around there. Now we have this magic-y bit. I'm going to cover right over it in white. I'm going to try and leave the black lines there as best I can with my inaccuracy of colouring in, because the background is so pale that otherwise I don't think it will show up. And as you see, when I'm doing these dots, it actually looks like it's erasing them a little bit, but we're going to get our purple. I've actually got two shades of purple. I've got, this one is slightly pinky, it's called lavender, and this one is violet. And I think this one's a bit too pink to go with what I've done. Whoops, so I'm going to use my violet. Just give it a shake, I haven't used it for a while. And we're going to come down here where we've got these dots and just do the dots. Oh, actually, it's working quite well. And the stars. Now, it might not look that different to the black that they are already, but I know that I've done something different to them, even if it doesn't look like I have. And there, and then these ones over here. And then, as I say, around here where we've got this magic-y bit, I'm just going to do some purple dots because I just don't think the white's going to show up in the sky. Hopefully, there we go. I'm just having a quick look to see if I've missed anything. I think I'm done. Oh no, I'm not. We've got some circles here. I don't know what these circles are here. I don't know whether there's something going on across the page a bit that they're from, but I'm just going to make them purple. There we are. So I am done. You could add a lot more white if you wanted. You could add some white clouds, but no, I'm happy. So there is our finished piece. So well done if you did that. It was actually quite a mammoth task, I think. It's taken me all morning to do it really. Well, about 3 hours. Apart, well, with a cup of coffee and a phone call and messing around a little bit, so maybe a bit less, but still it was quite a long one, but I'm quite happy with how it looks. So and if you feel that's a bit too plain, then I would advise you to use your number 61 for some of your flowers. 61 and maybe 20. Do a few pink ones as well, but I just felt the purple went better with the orange than the pink does. But you know, if you wanted something a bit different, because I know some people find that colouring the same colour all the time can be a bit tricky. So anyway, but that's me. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a fabulous day and happy colouring.